This courtroom moment starts off simple, but quickly turns into a powerful wake-up call. A young defendant, Mr. Vic, walks in with a relaxed, almost careless attitude. Judge Oakley immediately notices his body language and lack of seriousness, and the tone of the hearing shifts fast. As the judge questions him about his future plans and frequent marijuana use, it becomes clear that Mr. Vic doesn't have much direction. His answers feel uncertain, and instead of taking responsibility, he blames past incidents for his current situation. That's when the judge steps in firmly, explaining that the real problem isn't one mistake, it's the lack of a clear life plan. Judge Oakley delivers a blunt reality check about discipline, accountability, and the importance of structure, even suggesting military service as a possible path to build character and secure an education. By the end, Mr. Vic is ordered to complete 30 hours of community service, but the bigger lesson is about growing up and taking control of your future. This isn't just courtroom drama, it's a serious reminder that attitude and choices today can shape everything tomorrow.
Then you're doing it without one, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it without one, or you want to talk to one of ours?
I'll do it without one.
Okay. Dude, get your hair out of your face. Yeah. I'm better. I can see you now. All right. All right, I've got a ticket here, and the prosecutor says you're going to plead responsible to double parking, and we're going to dismiss a misdemeanor charge of reckless. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's the way you want to resolve this today?
Yes.
Okay. How old are you?
20.
All right, I understand you're almost done with school?
Yes, sir.
Then what's your plan?
I've been trying to get a job ever since I was 7, and then
Stop right there. Stop right there. Where have you been trying to get a job?
I'm trying to get a job at the service yard at Holiday Inn, at the apartments.
Okay. Why do I have a ROA for double parking? And we already got a ROA for it? Oh,
So everything.
it's confusing. No, it's not the way I'm used to saying it. I thought we had 2 tickets going. Okay, all right. Where else have you looked?
I looked at the day shop in Logo,
Okay.
and I also looked at Walmart and Buffalo Wild Wings.
And nobody's hiring you?
Well, Walmart, I don't know, but I can't get a response from Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'm trying to go to the holidays.
Okay. What's your long-term plan? Done with high school, then what?
I'm trying to be an engineer.
So you're going to school somewhere.
Hopefully that's.
Where and when?
Well, I graduate this year, and maybe I hope to go to college. Maybe by the time I'm 19.
Okay. What are you waiting for?
Nothing really.
Then why aren't you going to college now? As soon as you graduate?
I'm trying to finish school right now.
No, as soon as you graduate.
As soon as I graduate.
Yeah. Why aren't you planning on being in school somewhere in the fall?
I really didn't think about that, but
When did you start smoking marijuana?
when?
Yeah.
2 years ago,
Okay. How often you hit it?
that often,
What's that mean?
like barely.
What's that mean? Give me the frequency, brother. Once a month, once a week.
Speak.
Okay. All right. So on this file, you're not working now, so I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to charge you fines and costs. I'm going to charge you community service hours. But I also have to give you a little lecture. Dude, I've been doing this a long time. All right? I can pretty much paint the picture of your life for the next 5 years. If you don't do something drastic. Okay? You are like the poster child for Mr. Laid Back. All right? If you're talking about going to school when you're 19, I can guarantee when you're 21, you'll still be talking about going back to school. Guaranteed. I mean, I would bet $100 of mine against one of yours that by then you could come back and we'd still have this conversation about your planning on it, okay? If you were my nephew, I would put you in a car, I would drive you over to Canton on Ford Road, I would walk you into the recruiting office where you can talk to the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, Air Force, they're all in one building, and I would have you go door to door to door and find out what they could offer you if you sign up. Because that's what you need to do. You need to completely shake up your life to make something happen. Have you ever considered it? And I know you don't want to cut your hair, but it'll go back. Have you ever considered it? Why not? Why? Because that's a valid reason. Wow, you got me with your logic on it? No, you can't. You can't pay for an engineering degree working at Walmart. You can't. If you join the military, they'll send you to college. You know, every one of the branches of our armed forces have engineers. There are Army engineers, there are Navy engineers. That's a plan, dude. You don't have a plan. Officer got you fired.
Yeah.
Okay, where were you working? Okay. And how did you mean a cop?
Yeah.
How did the cop get you fired?
He was a member at the UIC and we have been busy on here.
You mean when this happened? Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll give you that, okay? How's that change what we're talking? We're not talking about this case now. We're talking about your life. How's the cop getting you fired determine whether or not you can afford to go to engineering school?
Because I would have had a job to pay for.
The BYC isn't going to pay for 4 years of college, dude. What were you making? $15 an hour?
I was making about $14,000 a year, so
that ain't even going to cover two.
Well, I'm also adopted, so the state would pay for it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you again. 30 hours community service, have it done by February 1st. Goodbye.
This courtroom hearing begins with what looks like just another routine case, but within moments, it becomes something much deeper. A young man, Mr. Wick, stands before Judge Oakley with a relaxed posture and an almost indifferent expression. Instead of the seriousness you might expect from someone facing legal consequences, there's a casual energy in the room. And Judge Oakley immediately picks up on it. The judge studies him carefully, noticing the body language, the tone, the lack of urgency. It's not just about the charges in front of the court. It's about attitude. From the very first exchange, Judge Oakley makes it clear that this isn't going to be a surface-level conversation. He begins asking simple but direct questions about Mr. Wick's life. What are you doing after school? What are your long-term goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? The answers come slowly. They're vague. There's no structure behind them, no clear ambition. Mr. Wick talks, but there's no real plan forming in his words. And that's when the judge shifts the tone entirely. He explains that the courtroom isn't just about punishing mistakes, it's about confronting reality. At a young age, choices begin to stack up. Habits turn into lifestyles. And lifestyles shape futures. The conversation turns toward Mr. Wick's repeated marijuana use. The judge questions how often he smokes, how it affects his daily life, and whether he truly understands the consequences. Instead of urgency, there's defensiveness. Instead of reflection, there are excuses. The judge doesn't raise his voice, but his words become sharper. He explains that frequent drug use isn't just a harmless habit when it starts interfering with responsibility, employment, and direction. As the hearing continues, Mr. Wick brings up a past encounter with an officer, claiming it led to him losing his job. It's presented almost like the turning point of his problems. But Judge Oakley doesn't accept that narrative. He makes it clear that one incident, one person, or one bad moment cannot be blamed for an entire lack of direction. The real issue, he says, is the absence of a life plan. When someone has structure, discipline, and goals, setbacks don't destroy them, they motivate them. The judge leans into a deeper message. He talks about discipline. He talks about how structure builds confidence. He explains that many young people drift because no one ever demands more from them. No one challenges them to rise above comfort. He points out that talent and intelligence mean nothing without effort. Potential is wasted every single day by people who choose short-term pleasure over long-term progress. At one point, Judge Oakley suggests something that catches everyone's attention: military service. Not as punishment, but as opportunity. He explains how the military can provide education benefits, career training, and a level of discipline that changes lives. If Mr. Wick truly wants to pursue something like engineering, as he claims, then he needs structure. He needs a system that forces him to wake up early, stay focused, and earn his progress. The judge emphasizes that drastic change might be exactly what's needed. Throughout the exchange, there's a visible contrast between the judge's intensity and Mr. Wick's casual demeanor. The courtroom grows quieter as the message becomes heavier. This isn't about a single charge anymore. It's about the direction of a young man's entire future. The judge explains that at this age, every year matters. The habits formed now will either build a foundation or dig a deeper hole. He speaks about accountability, about how blaming others becomes a cycle. First it's the officer, then it's the boss, then it's the system. Eventually, years pass, and nothing changes because the one thing that needed to change, the mindset, never did. The judge makes it clear that respect for authority isn't about fear. It's about understanding that rules exist to create order. Without order, life becomes chaos. As the hearing moves toward its conclusion, Judge Oakley announces 30 hours of community service. It's a measurable consequence, but compared to the message delivered, it almost feels secondary. The real weight of the moment lies in the warning. The judge openly questions whether Mr. Wick is ready to change. He expresses concern that without a strong role model or firm guidance, this pattern will continue. The atmosphere in the courtroom reflects a crossroads. On one side is the current path: casual decisions, no structure, drifting from job to job, blaming circumstances. On the other side is effort, discipline, responsibility, and long-term planning. The judge doesn't sugarcoat anything. He explains that the world outside the courtroom is far less patient. Employers won't tolerate excuses. Opportunities won't wait forever. The message resonates beyond Mr. Wick. It feels directed at every young person who thinks time is unlimited. The judge reminds him that early adulthood is where habits become identity. If you identify as someone who avoids responsibility, that identity follows you. But if you choose discipline, that follows you too. There's a moment where the frustration in the judge's voice blends with something else: concern. Not anger for the sake of authority, but genuine disappointment at seeing potential slipping away. He explains that he's seen too many young defendants return to the same courtroom years later, facing far more serious charges, all because they ignored smaller warnings like this one. The hearing becomes less about punishment and more about perspective. The judge talks about how real success requires discomfort. Waking up when you don't feel like it. Working when others are relaxing. Studying when distractions are everywhere. He emphasizes that growth never happens in comfort zones. Mr. Wick listens, occasionally responding, but the weight of the message hangs in the room. The judge reiterates that no one can force change. Not the court, not parents, not mentors. Change has to be chosen. And the sooner it's chosen, the easier the road becomes. As the session wraps up, the underlying message is clear. This was a warning shot. 30 hours of community service is manageable. But the next mistake might not be. The next consequence might not come with a lecture, it might come with something much harsher. The courtroom doors will close. Life outside will continue. And Mr. Vick will face a decision that many young adults face: continue drifting, or take control. Judge Oakley has delivered the reality check. What happens next depends entirely on whether the message sinks in. What makes this moment powerful isn't shouting or drama. It's the clarity. A young man confronted with the truth about his trajectory. A judge refusing to overlook wasted potential. And a reminder that sometimes the harshest words are meant to build, not break. This hearing stands as a raw example of how attitude shapes outcomes. How excuses delay progress. How discipline can transform direction. And how one serious conversation, at the right time, can change the course of a life, if the person listening is willing to act on it.